every single time that I looked at the title of this book, all I could think of was Welcome Annihilation! Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about Annihilation by VanderMeer. Hopefully didn't blow out your eardrums or anything. With that being unexpected, but anyway, we're going to talk about this book, which was really interesting. And this is a, I do read sci-fi from time to time, and I did stick with mostly fantasy. This was one that was recommended by Murphy, from Murphy and Appear, specifically, and I was just trying to kind of switch it up, do something different, and it's also very short, so it worked after reading Song of the Mysteries by J.D. Wirtz, the final book in the Wars of Light and Shadow, when I had just a severe book hangover, and it was so hard to get into literally anything else, because I'm like, all I could think about was that book, and so I'm like, I need something really different, and this delivered on that quite a bit. So I don't have a copy of this because I actually borrowed it from my library. They have the physical copy of it there, and so it's a tiny book though. So that's where, yeah, we had the cover up here on the screen here, and I also did, after reading the book, watch the movie, and so we'll talk a little bit about that too, and compare and contrast a little bit here. But let's talk about this book, because this was a strange book. It's called Annihilation, and it is the first book in the Southern Reach trilogy, which I'll be interested to see where it goes. And it's set up in a kind of, it's a bit non-linear in the storytelling, and it's also set up so that you really don't know what's happening and are just kind of thrown into this strange situation, which I think works in this circumstance because that's exactly kind of how the character is. We're following a group of people, and they're in Area X, which is this kind of specific area that you have to like go through a barrier to get through, and they've sent teams there before, and they've for the most part not made it back. Some of them have ended up killing each other or just going missing. Like it's pretty dangerous. And we have this group, which is all women, including a psychologist who's like the team lead, an anthropologist, a surveyor, and then a biologist who is the person who's actually narrating the story, and it is from their side. And they're supposed to be researching exactly what's happening. And we don't really know what's going on. They also, our main character doesn't really fully remember getting here or everything that's happened. Like there are some gaps. And we're seeing this just very strange kind of landscape, and the weird factor just kind of gets more and more as you go along. And that's the biggest thing. It's just, this is one of those things that it's so weird and it's so strange, and you don't necessarily really know what's going on. And so I think very intentionally it was written in this way because of the fact that it's kind of making you, the reader, go through a similar experience to what this person is going through as well. We have this odd landscape where there's like weird kind of types of like plants and growths, and nobody fully knows what's going on here because of the fact that it's people who go there tend to not come back alive. And so because of that, it's very mysterious, and they're trying to find out more information. And we have some other things that are sort of revealed as we go along, and it makes it kind of unclear what's going on even more so. And I'm being so vague here because the blurb for this is a little vague too, because this is kind of one you just need to read to, I think, experience. And because it's so short, you can read this in pretty much one sitting, which I pretty much did as well. And it is really strange. So I know I've said a lot of strange things. So this is very much kind of sci-fi, and it's if you like the kind of thing where you're going in and you're just exploring something that's just entirely alien and different while also being kind of familiar. It has, while it is sci-fi, it has some like psychological horror or thriller elements, I would say, into it too, because of the way we're just going, and it's the lack of understanding and the strange things happening, and wondering if what's going to happen to you, and if you're going to be changed by this landscape. So you have a lot of those feelings going in as well, except it's just a place that's something happened and we don't know what's happened. And I imagine we're going to explore that more as you continue along and see what more is happening. And then some of the specific items that you focus on, including some specific words like passages, that are repeated as well give you more questions than answers still. And this is a book, it is the first of a trilogy, it's very short, but this is a book that's going to leave you with a lot more questions than answers. Very much so, because it's setting something up, but it's also just, it's so like, what is happening? What's going on? What's up with this ending? So if you're looking for a really clean and easy to follow along with and like beginning, middle, and end, that's not this. This is more like a really odd kind of just interesting thing to dive into. Now, talking about the book versus the movie a little bit too, because I was curious when reading this. It says it's a movie. It's starring Natalie Portman, and I was able to actually borrow that from Hoopla. So I'm like, why not? Give it a shot. And the movie does things really differently, which also makes sense, because it's a lot more linear. It gives you a lot of the background that you don't get until you're deeper into the book. First, for these reasons, I would recommend watching or reading the book first, because the movie will kind of give you a little bit more background, but it does stay fairly similar in a lot of ways to kind of what's happening. With some big differences, but I think it does a good job. The big thing, though, is the book, I think, does a really fantastic job with the character development of our main character, albeit in kind of a weird way. Because she's the one narrating the story to us, but there are things that she doesn't know, but then there are also things that she just doesn't want to tell you, the reader. And she's very hesitant to tell you some things. And so you'll get kind of at bits and points. She's like, well, I didn't tell you about this because, I was hoping this wouldn't color your opinion of what's happening to me or who I am. And so it's kind of that it's not quite an unreliable narrator. It's just the narrator's not super forthcoming on some things as well. And with the kind of the feel of the book as well, that kind of finding out more as we go along, I think works really well. And also does a lot to really give more depth to the character in a lot of ways, and kind of see how they've ended up in the situation that they're in as well. Whereas you don't really get the character development as much. They focus on kind of a different aspect in the movie, which is still something that's coming from the book, but it doesn't quite give that as much. They had a bit more of the action as well. The big difference is the ending of the movie is also fairly open-ended, but also it has some stronger implications and ends very differently than what the specific book does. And we're just like, most of the effects and everything I thought was pretty good, but then the very end, the effects were strange, and it was this weird kind of thing. So I wasn't like that kind of like, this got a little weird, and not in like the book, which was like super weird, but in like a better way, I think. So it does things a little bit differently there too, but honestly, I thought it was a pretty solid movie, and I was cool with it. But the book, I definitely liked more. And I think, that's pretty common. But I think the movie did a good job of adding some things and changing some things around to make the story a little bit more coherent. But at the same time, the book is not necessarily trying to be coherent, especially at the beginning. You kind of have to piece it together as you go. And so I think doing it the way the author did accomplishes that weird and kind of unsettling effect better, because you don't fully know what's happening. And just some of the descriptions and the way things are described too, I just feel like it was much more unsettling reading that than even seeing the things that they were putting in the movie. So I think the author did a really good job here. I enjoyed this one. It was very short. I don't know if the other books in the trilogy are also short like this too, but I will definitely be continuing and checking them out, because I had a really good time with this. And it was just something that was so different and out there that it really did help me kind of reset and get going. So had a good time with this. Was glad that I saw that recommendation for this and picked it up. But that is it for this one. So let me know if you've read this or seen the movie, or your kind of thoughts on it, and just the way of like what your opinion on going like non-linear and kind of finding out about things as you go along, that can think what you think there. Because I know sometimes that really is hit or miss for people as well. So curious on your thoughts on any of that. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, or really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.